Yeah, copy that.
Like nice perspective.
No, no, I'm not speaking to you, Kesri. I'm speaking to these people on my podium. Sorry.
Is it okay? I have to go down. Just wait. Give me a sign.
It will be like this, and you won't understand anything.
Sorry?
She wouldn't do that. It will be here.
Can you just... Much better? Much better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. Will you be listening into Germany or
German.
English?
It's German Chancellor.
Alright.
It's for
Thank
the
you.
Chancellor.
Okay. Yeah, good, good.
Yeah. It's fine. Is anyone telling your president, chancellor, that it should be like this on the lectern? Because if you put it here,
Yeah,
then you
the
don't have
signal.
the connect.
Yeah, the signal cuts.
It's fine now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
This is interpretation system. But I'm saying it's coming here as well. No, it's flow. It's coming here. Yeah. Cool, this is sound check for cameras. Should you be hearing this? It's me, sound guy on the floor, checking if we if you can hear me, I'm good. You guys good? I'll assume you are. Hey, sorry? Can you push it on your side? Yeah, do that. Is it? Oh, am I too low? All right, cool. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna talk on the lecterns. One, two, one, two. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go to lectern on the floor, lectern microphones. I'll be talking from lectern microphones in about. Uh, eh, one, two. One, two. One, two. One, two. I'm on lectern. Camera guys. Camera guys. Come on. I'm on lectern. One, two. I'm on lectern. One, two, two. You get this one? One, two. You good? Lectern. Okay, cool. All right. One, two. One, two. I'm on lectern. One, two. You good? Sure. You good? Okay, nothing on you, nothing on you. Prem, what's up? Are you good? Okay, sure. Okay, cool. Thank you. Hey, one, two. cable. Let's trace your cable. Let's fix your problems. Hey, 1, 2. Hey. I don't know who done doesn't make. I don't know. You fix it. I don't know. I don't know the height of the person. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. What do you mean it's too high? Yeah, the mics are on, so the mics are on, there's going to be noise. Well, I was just making switch for reference. So this is, yeah, check the Hola. I can only hear you when you descend. Where's your mic? Just change. The blue one, okay. Let me just check again. Everything is there. Everything is there. That's there. So, alright. 1, 2. Let me just check that. That's there. That's there. Okay, cool. Yeah, check it. But I'm sending everything as standard to everybody. Okay, I'll check it. Talk to that. Yeah, I said, Matthew, check it. Sorry, man. Just give me like a minute or so. One, two. It's not me, Prime. It could be a cable. I'm sending. Cool. Cool. So what's your problem? Okay, cool. All right. Sorry? Yes, I don't know. Yeah, not in this place. I've also struggled. I've struggled a lot. Oh, man. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. Stomach. Oh, yeah. One, two. You good? Fingers? Fingers. Okay, so. Hey, hey. Yes.
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. Sure. Hey, 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 hey. Hello, hello. Hey, so. Bless you.
Yep, sure. Checking feed 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Checking 1, 2, 2. Sound check 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sound check 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Feed check 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah. Checking feed 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Checking feed 1, 2, 1, 2. Sound check 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Drop.
One, two. 1, 2. Just checking for both. Okay, cool. Hey. Let's line check. What line check? Okay, Prime.
Others are not good. Yeah, sure, it's fine.
Cool. I'm using this microphone as a reference to what I'm sending to you guys on microphones on the floor. I've got 2 lectern microphones. If you see on the lecterns, I've got 2 microphones. Can you all hear me? Gentlemen, guys? Alright, cool. Anyway, so I've got 2 lectern and then I've got 1 handheld for master ceremony. So I'm sending them on the same level as this one. I'm doing nothing before or after. It is as this one. We good? We happy? Happiness? Okay, cool.
mal hier.
Pass go, pull the mic. Could be cable, yeah. Could be cable, yeah.
Präsident. Was denn den? Kanzlerin. Ja. Also sag mal. Ja, exklusiv. Okay. Shake the hand. Jetzt haben wir.
1, 2.
What's actually pass?
1, 2, 1, 2.
Put them again.
Hier Vorhand, einmal Vorhand. Zweites Mal Vorhand. Drittes Mal Vorhand. Verstehst du? Deswegen habe ich auch. Ich mach das nur, ich hab's ab.
Where are you? No. I'm just giving you flow, man. Yeah. So what are you getting? Are you getting this? No, Mama. I'm saying that you're getting this when I tested the microphone. Okay, cool. Okay. So, all right. Listen. Floor.
So everything but no translation.
Jo, sag mal, brechen wir das einfach ab?
Go and plug and then get a connector. That's you can use the headset as they did.
Oh, just to hear.
Yeah.
Nimmt das Phoenix denn live oder zeichnen die das einfach
Well,
nur
I'm
irgendwo?
recording there, so as long as I have.
You have flow, yeah. You have flow. You should be fine. Go and plug it and connect them like this, please.
Gut, okay, dann lassen wir es einfach. Bauklötze.
Really? Yeah, in blue.
Ja.
Danke.
Ja, okay.
Just put it down there.
Das werden wir dann sehen, wo wir dann sind. Genau. Das ist das Great Deal. Gut, alles klar.
Okay, cool. Listen again. Just listen. 1, 2. So, okay, sure. I'm just checking for me, sister. Are you good? If you're getting this, then I'm sending you like 10 microphones and this as well. This is just a reference of what I'm sending on the floor. If you maybe want the translation, get the packs. I think it's better that way. Sorry. There it is, Ishaf. Yeah, Ishaf. Then for translation.
The best way, I think the best way. When I'm headset, I'm earphones. Oh, okay, yeah. I think that's the best way, yeah.
That is 6 topics. That is 6.
1, 2. 1, 2. One, two. 1, 2.
Okay, cool. Here you go. Should I show you how to switch them on and off? Or should we leave them on? Yeah, leave them on. Okay, how do you switch them on? Yeah, no, it's dangerous for...
No, it's not. Keep it on.
It's just saying something.
Keep it on. Okay. Keep it on. I get it's not gonna die. The juice.
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Should I give it to you now or later? Are you starting now?
Let's keep it. Yeah. Keep it on the side. And then one of the scotch.
Yeah, Rory. Interesting. Dankeschön.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you very much for being patient and being here. Your Excellency, Chancellor Angela Merkel, ambassadors, ministers. We start with the signing. Yes, I'm too much in a hurry. We do the signing.
This gives me the opportunity to say, in the beginning, I will say something what has to do with internal politics. We had yesterday in one of our länder of the election of the Prime Minister, and I have to comment this.
Wonderful.
There was the votes of the right-wing party, which is
Excellencies, honorable ministers and deputy ministers, senior government officials, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now witness the signing ceremony between the Republic of South Africa, represented by Honorable Minister Nzimande, and Federal Republic of Germany, represented by Mr. Nook. They will be signing the joint initiative between the Republic of South Africa and the Federal Republic of Germany concerning the promotion of skills development in South Africa. May I invite them to come forward for the signing? Please. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, Honorable Minister and Mr. Nook. I now hand over to Ms. Sangoni to conduct the press briefing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Your Excellencies, President Ramaphosa of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency Dr. Angela Merkel, the Federal Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, ministers, deputy ministers, senior officials on both the South African and German side, welcome once again to South Africa. We have no doubt you'll have a great stay. This media briefing follows the welcome ceremony and the official talks that have been held between South Africa and Germany. And without wasting any time, I'll invite His Excellency President Ramaphosa to deliver the remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. I jumped the gun earlier. So many of you here. And once again, Chancellor Merkel, ambassadors and ministers who are here with us, and senior government officials, and of course, all of you members of the media who are here. It has been my great pleasure to receive Chancellor Merkel, as well as a delegation for talks this morning, where we held fruitful deliberations. This visit has long been in the making, and we're delighted that we were finally honored by Chancellor Merkel to come to South Africa. I did promise her that we will give her the very best weather, and I've delivered on that promise. She's experiencing a wonderful weather. Germany is one of South Africa's most strategic partners, and to receive the Chancellor and a delegation indeed is a great honor for us. Germany is South Africa's second largest trading partner, a major investor in our economy, a significant tourism market for us as South Africans, and a most valued developmental partner. Our two countries are both non-permanent members on the UN Security Council, and we had a chance today to discuss several issues on the UN Security Council agenda and other global issues. We also addressed a number of bilateral issues between our two countries. Of particular importance was the signing of the joint initiative on the promotion of vocational training. I have made addressing the high rate of youth unemployment in our country a foremost priority of our administration. We have begun to implement the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention to address this challenge of youth unemployment, which includes 5 priority actions over the next 5 years that will significantly reduce the rate of youth who are unemployed. An important part of this intervention is to provide young people with the skills that companies that operate in our country require, and to better align the skills development system with the demands of the economy as well. We have to make sure that young people transition from their learning process to earning at a much faster rate. Part of our discussions with the Chancellor today focus on how we can work together to strengthen technical and vocational education in South Africa. We know that Germany has one of the most admired and successful training systems in the world, and we look forward to finding ways for us to learn from each other's experiences and build a world-class skills development system for young people in our country. We did indeed spend quite a lot of time talking about this, and there's a lot that we can learn from them and with their assistance as well. Our relationship has a strong economic focus as well. Bilateral trade between our two countries is growing. Our trade balance is narrowing, and we benefit from the presence of some 600 German companies in South Africa. We agreed that there is a need for German businesses to deepen their presence in South Africa and to expand their operations, and that we should cooperate to even greater levels of German investment in South Africa. Chancellor Merkel is accompanied by a number of senior business executives, and we will have an opportunity to engage with them later this afternoon during the business forum. I believe that this discussion will result in concrete proposals on the many ways in which trade and investment from both our countries can be strengthened. We also both look forward to the 10th meeting of the Binational Commission, which we have between us, which will meet once again in Pretoria in March under the leadership of our two foreign ministers. The Binational Commission will address technical aspects related to relations between South Africa and Germany and ensure that we move the relationship forward in a positive and a much more structured manner. This visit comes at a time when we are on a concerted drive to grow our economy and to create more jobs. Foreign direct investment by German companies will make a valuable contribution to our effort to secure 1.2 trillion rand in investment over 5 years. During my visit to Berlin in 2018, I expressed my hope that the commitment made by German companies at the first South Africa Investment Conference would be scaled up at subsequent conferences. I'm pleased to say that German investors have not disappointed us. They've expanded their presence in our economy, and they are deepening their contribution to job growth as well. Germany has been our long-standing partner in development. We therefore also discussed the possibility of deepening collaboration on a number of social issues such as education, health, and climate change. Ultimately, the ties that bind our two countries are the strong relations that have developed between our two peoples and a shared commitment to a just, prosperous, peaceful, and sustainable future for all. This has been a most successful and most welcome visit to our country by Chancellor Merkel. We remain greatly encouraged that the lasting bonds between our two countries are stronger now than ever before and will continue to grow even stronger. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, Dr. Merkel.
Ja, meine Damen und Herren, ich hatte...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I had told the President that for domestic political reasons, I would like to first make a brief statement. Yesterday, a Minister President was elected in Thuringia. The election of this Minister President was a unique event which actually broke with a basic tradition for both the CDU and myself, namely that we will not accept majorities that are won with the help of the AfD. And it was actually very clear already from the start. It took 3 rounds of elections. This is an unpardonable act, and the result needs to be retracted. That needs to be abolished, at least to the extent that the CDU is not allowed to participate in a government beneath with the now elected Minister President. It was a bad day for democracy, a day that broke with a long and proud tradition of the values of the CDU, and everything needs to be done now in order to make it clear that this is in no way in line with what the CDU thinks, how we have acted all throughout the existence of our party, and this is what we need to work on over the next few days and weeks. Well, that by way of an introductory statement, I would now like to come to South Africa, a country that I greatly love to visit, and I was here in 2007, 2010. I'm very pleased to be able to come back here this time. It took me quite a while, that's true. Almost 30 years ago, on the 11th of February 1990, Nelson Mandela was released from prison. This was a time that brought tremendous change to South Africa, but it was also a time which brought tremendous change to my life, because that was the time when the wall finally fell and we were able to unite our country to deal with this particular issue. Millions of people waiting for that for a long time. South Africa has undergone tremendous changes in the ensuing years. It is still undergoing those changes, and we, Mr. President, are trying, as regards democracy, economic growth, and rule of law, to bring all of this together, and the education and training of young people. You're doing this with great compassion. You're doing this also with great passion, and this is why we would like to support you, President Ramaphosa, wherever this is possible for us. We have good economic relations. Our business delegation will this afternoon outline their views of the situation at hand, but we have recorded growth, for example, in our bilateral trade, to the tune of 17 billion euros recently, and we also obviously want to build on this. We want to support this as states. One particular issue that is of great concern to you is energy supply. We would like to support you particularly as regards, for example, expanding the use of renewables, but also using renewables in a sustainable way, because they are far less constant than other sources of energy. We've also talked about the possible replacement of old coal-fired power plants. We talked about a possible role for
natural gas. We talked about our climate relations in Europe, how we deal with this issue, and we're gratified to note that South Africa wishes to be very ambitious on this. The President has told us very clearly how he envisages the further expansion of renewables, and he's working on this. Now, energy has quite a lot to do with how can we cope with climate change here in South Africa. You can see here too. We have had an intensive exchange of talks. Our ministers of environment will also be able to, on the margins of the Binary Commission, discuss these issues and put down markers. Now, the big issue that we also discussed about is youth unemployment. We understand your educational sector is very far developed, but afterwards, well-skilled young people need jobs. 600 German companies are represented here with about 100,000 jobs. Obviously, they train, but this is not sufficient. So Germany wishes to put a great priority of its development cooperation on education, on professional training. There are a few practical examples here of technical colleges where we want to outline how educational and vocational training can look like, but we would also obviously like to join our companies here to show you how this works as an in-house training. At any rate, we have discussed this at great length, and there was a great interest by the President as regards education and vocational training. The ties that bind us are also very much strengthened by the many tourists that come, German tourists, that is, that come to South Africa. I don't know whether as many South Africans come to Germany, but they are always warmly welcome. You know, we are also a country that is rich in cultural heritage, but that South Africa is a beautiful country and that it is nice to travel here is something that many Germans are familiar with. Now, you've seen as a signing ceremony. I can only invite to participate in our Alexander von Humboldt Foundation Scholarship Program. This is a program where young students may spend a year in Germany every time about 12. We have this program with Russia, with China. States, I understand. So as a new country, we would like to invite South Africa to the group. South Africa has always taken a very strong stance on multilateralism, and we value this very highly. You are the only country, the only African country that represents this continent in the group of G20. Germany and South Africa are working very closely on the Compact with Africa program that comprises by now 10 countries. We are trying through more of an effort on the administrative fund to see to it that loans can be given more easily. So in this way we promote investments. This year the President will be the chair of the African Union as of this month. We think that the AU has taken very bold and courageous steps at its meeting in Niamey to adopt the free trade area for the whole of Africa. A lot of work, I understand, needs to be done. I think look at all of the trade barriers that we know have had to overcome in the European Union, and we're both non-permanent members in the Security Council of the United Nations. We ourselves will hold the presidency of the EU in the second half of this year. There will be an EU-Africa summit meeting, so we should also discuss the preparations leading up to this summit. So quite a lot of different projects we have and ties we have. She's not using the microphone, sorry. It's very hard to understand because the microphone seems to have gone off. I'm very pleased to be here, and I would like to thank you for the very warm welcome.
Your Excellencies. I will now take two hands from the South African side. I'll give the principals an opportunity to respond and then come back for two questions from the German side. The first one from South Africa comes from the South African Broadcasting Corporation. Mr. Pledges.
Good morning to both leaders. Given that UK has left European Union, so we see Germany, which is the leader in Europe, exploring opportunities perhaps down south. So how particularly, because the two of you will be chairing these continental bodies later in the year, how do you aim to work together to enhance economic opportunities, perhaps particularly to President Ramaphosa? So what sort of opportunities as a country have we identified within the EU, working with countries like Germany, to enhance our economic relations?
Thank you. Second question, I'll take Shannon Ibrahim at the back there.
Thank you very much. Shannon Ibrahim, Group Foreign Editor for Independent Media. My question goes to Chancellor Merkel. Following on from the successful conference that you hosted in Berlin on Libya, I was just wondering, what do you see as the role for Germany going forward in terms of bringing peace and stability to Libya? And do you think that Germany will support an AU-led process to mediate and bring peace between the two sides and silence the guns in that country? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies.
As I said earlier, the relations between Germany and South Africa are very strong. Germany is our strategic partner, and on the trading level, they are our number 2 trading partner. And we forever look out for opportunities to deepen those relations. We cooperate extremely well when it comes to trade matters. And our binational commission continuously looks at areas in which we can strengthen those relations. And obviously, with the trading balance between the two countries having narrowed, we obviously want to increase the trade, and we're particularly pleased that the Chancellor has brought with her a very strong and high-level business delegation. And these are business people who have taken a keen interest in South Africa, and we are delighted about that, and we want to see more German companies operating in the South African marketplace. We already have some 600 or so, and that in itself is not only going to contribute to investment, but also to trade. So we want to expand trade, and the relationship that we have with Germany is a very good and strong one. And with the UK leaving the EU, it will not affect our relationship with Germany in any way or shape or form. So our relations are going to get stronger and stronger. And the Chancellor's visit here is a clear signal that Germany wants to continue doing business with South Africa, that Germany wants to continue strengthening its relations with South Africa. And likewise, South Africa wants Germany to remain its very strong partner at all levels: trade, investment, on developmental issues as well, as I indicated. So we see ourselves with Germany being joined at the hip because we have a mutually beneficial relationship. Thank you very much.
Yes, the United Kingdom has in effect left the European Union. Well, right now in a period of transition, so de facto nothing much has changed, particularly as regards economic relations. But what will follow now will be months of intensive discussions, negotiations, because the United Kingdom has to tell us how exactly they envisage the relationship with the European Union. In the long run, this will turn to a free trade agreement where there are some areas where we have very clear obligations and very close relations, but then we will have to see how Britain envisages its role with the EU and in the world. At any rate, we will lose a competitive partner, somebody who has always also been very much geared towards this. This is deplorable, but it was the free decision of the citizens of the United Kingdom. We would like to continue to maintain a relationship of friendship with Britain. As regards this balancing act with the European Union and within the European Union, you have to say that this relationship with France, between Germany and France, has always been very important for the European Union. But it will be, I think, even more important, arguably, than it ever was to keep the whole of the European Union together, because, you know, freedom of movement, the euro, in all of these areas, Britain actually had already opted out, so they were not part and parcel of this. And we ourselves will now have to, the remaining members, that is, reflect what can we do, what can we change, so that we remain a partner to be reckoned with in this world of today, because we need to find a consistent position. Our relations with South Africa are not in any way touched by that. As President Ramaphosa said, we have very close relations, and we're also, as regards sort of mentally very close, and we are gratified always when we see that South Africa is developing very well. You have had difficulties, you're overcoming those difficulties. We would like to be, Germany would like to be a good partner at the side, shoulder to shoulder with South Africa, and I wish the President every luck with managing the situation. Also, we know the security situation in the whole of the continent has actually become more difficult. Development can only exist when there is security, but security and development are, and also vice versa, security and development are inextricably linked. Now, yes, we have held a conference on Libya in Berlin. We have come out strongly in favor of peace, but this conference is first and foremost in support of the special representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ghassan Salameh, whose office was established in order to achieve a truce, then a ceasefire, and also a peaceful solution for Libya. We have seen that this is enormously difficult without the African wisdom and expert knowledge on this. Is something that we cannot do. You, in many ways, know the situation far better. Libya today is not owned by the Libyans. There are many powers from outside, also from outside of the continent, who are sort of playing out their interests there on the ground. The Libyan people are in dire straits. They have been dragged into this situation against their own will. So working in their interest is already well worth our while. I'm under no illusion it's going to take a very long time to solve this, but it is of deep significance for both Africa and Europe. If Libya should become a failed state, we have on the one hand the atrocious way that refugees are dealt with there. We see then further crossings across the Mediterranean. People will drown, but we also see a seeping in of security risks into the Sahel, into the surrounding neighbors, due to export of arms, due to export of fighters, and that's something that we both, I think, cannot condone.
Questions on the German side? Mr. Blank from DPA News Agency. Yes, sir.
Frau Bundeskanzlerin.
Madam Chancellor Jörg Blank from the German press agency DPA, you started with the situation in Thuringia, which is why I wanted to briefly ask you on this. Thuringia and the election of a minister-president with the help of the AfD is something that you called unpardonable, and that they need to retract this. Does this mean you call for a new election? And over the weekend, the coalition agreement, the coalition committee will actually convene. Will that lead perhaps to the grand coalition in Berlin fail? Have you called your party chairperson, Ms. Kramp-Karrenbauer, and also the finance minister, Mr. Scholz, the deputy chancellor? Have you talked to them whether the situation in Thuringia could eventually lead to failure of the Grand Coalition? Have you already been in contact to the Mr. Presidents of the SPD? And I'd like to ask one question related to Libya, to both of you, to the Chancellor and to the President. The question is, what about the monitoring of the arms embargo of the United Nations? Would you rather, both of you, I would like to hear answers from, would you like to have this as an African mission or as an EU or as an UN mission? And President Ramaphosa, what about the Sahel interventions of European forces? I can only say that I was both in contact with the party chairperson of the SPD and Mr. Scholz. We agreed on holding a meeting of the coalition committee. I think it's only right to talk about this matter. I can't comment more on this at this point in time. On Libya, I might add that we are engaged there, but this engagement is actually also dependent on all of those who can contribute to the solution being in on this. This is why the President of the AU Commission, President Mr. Faki, has always been sitting in on these meetings. This is why President Sassou Nguesso of Congo-Brazzaville, who has been tasked by the African Union to deal with the solution of the Libya conflict, has also been there. The neighbors of Libya have participated, Algeria, Tunisia. So I think we have to see to it that all of those who can give a contribution towards settling this conflict do so. It is unfortunately not only an African problem, but all the way from Russia to Arab states to Turkey, we have, and also from European states, we have seen many who apparently have an vested interest in Libya, but all of them have to be pushed to bring forward a peaceful settlement. First and foremost, obviously, the Libyan parties. When at some point in time you have pushed back the influence from the outside, then the Libyan citizens themselves have to find a solution for their country, and not we imposing a solution on them.
The problem of Libya clearly has to be resolved, and as Africans we would always like to see African problems being resolved by Africans. There has to be African solutions to those problems. The Libyan problem is a unique one because we have a number of other countries outside of Africa involved in that conflict, be it in the form of bringing in people who are fighters or armies, be it weapons. So it is a problem that is involving so many other people. We would like to see Africa taking the lead in all this, and we are particularly pleased that our partners are willing and prepared to listen to what Africans have to say and the solutions that Africans would like to bring to the table. There was a meeting in Congo-Brazzaville a few days ago where President Sassou Nguesso, President of Congo-Brazzaville, led the process. He's going to be able to report to the AU just in a few days' time. We will be able to evolve a much clearer African position on this. When it comes, obviously, to the arms embargo, obviously Africa wants to play a key role in making sure that this is observed. But we also recognize that in doing so, the United Nations has an important role to play, and so does the AU. And we also know that there are other partners who are also in many ways involved in this. And we will be able to find a much clearer position going forward. With regard to the Sahel region, yes, we know that there are quite a number of other forces in the Sahel area, European forces, that are also trying to bring about peace in that region. And in a number of cases, that has proven to be helpful, but that too has to be looked at through the prism of finding African solutions, so that the solutions that are found in all these conflicts must be owned by Africans, it must be implemented by Africans, and it must be led by Africans. And where, obviously, we have to work with others. We would like those others outside of their continent to do what Chancellor Angela Merkel has said, to work in cooperation, in assistance, to help all of us find solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very final question from the German side. ZDF?
Theo Cole, German television. I have a question to the President concerning energy. What are your expectations for the cooperation with Germany? Are you happy with renewables, or do you also need modernization of the existing coal power plants? Und wenn Sie erlauben, Frau Bundeskanzlerin, auch eine Zusatzfrage zu Ihrer Vorbemerkung. Sie haben gesagt, die Vorgänge in...
Allow me, if I may, question to the Chancellor. You said that what has happened at Thuringia needs to be retracted. What do you expect them to do, and how does the Chancellor rate the state of the Grand Coalition?
Is it me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it is me. We had really extensive and very informative discussions on energy, and the Chancellor was able to share the German experience, how they have been able to move away, say, from coal-fired power stations and get into renewables, and how they are looking forward to 2038 when coal will no longer be a contributor to their energy source. We are still at 89% reliant on coal, but we have started our journey on renewables. And this is part of the process that we've embarked upon to address climate change in our country. This has now been fully embraced in South Africa, and renewables are now coming into their own. And as we move forward, more and more renewables will be playing a key role in our economy. And this is also going to be given a big boost by the decision we've taken that there can now be self-generation. Companies can generate their own energy, as well as cities and towns in our country. So that is going to lead to the growth of renewables. But what was also pleasing with our engagement with Chancellor Merkel was to also learn from their own experience of the process of transition. They have traversed from coal to renewables, and what has had to happen in those areas where there were coal-fired power stations. And we are at the beginning of the process of looking at what a just transition means. As our old power stations, coal-fired power stations, come to the end of their life, how are we going to ensure that the workers and the communities where those power stations are given a just transition? So conversing with her, we were able to learn quite a lot that we can also implement here, because as those power stations close, does not mean that the towns should just come to a dead end and the workers should just be thrown into the pool of the unemployed. We need to find ways of managing all that. So South Africa is on a journey of ensuring that we do have energy sources that are mixed. Coal is still going to play a key role in our economy, but renewables are going to be growing more and more. And it's going to be diverse sources of renewables as well.
Ja, ich habe von den Erfahrungen.
Well, I talked about I informed the President about the experience we've made in Coal Commission, and we also touched on various issues related to how one can combine a traditional generation of energy and with renewables, and I think we're were very much in agreement there. Well, on the second part of your question, it is said that Thuringia contemplates new elections. That is one option. We said that the CDU and the minister-president will not participate, and this particular minister-president will not participate in the government. We will now wait and see over the next few days to come how they solve that conundrum. I think as regards the Grand Coalition, the views that we heard yesterday from the party chairpersons, from Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, reflects the clear and unanimous decision of the CDU, and Markus Söder, as the chair of the CSU, was also very clear. So I think that put matters into perspective, which I think is most important for the Grand Coalition on the whole. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much.
Hope you enjoy your day further. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings our press briefing to a close. Thank you very much for your time.